Hello folks, I hope you're doing well. So, we've just had something recently called the Eurovision Song Contest, and yeah, apparently it was absolutely awful. I'm so grateful I didn't see it. Well, apparently it's basically a celebration of homosexuality and transgenderism, and basically like a gay porn, that sort of thing. Okay, I'm pleased I didn't see that. But there was an extreme amount of hatred apparently shown towards the Israeli singers there. Well, there was a pro-Palestinian march outside, or protest outside. Again, these people doing this... part of me says shoot every one of them. Yeah. Get a machine gun, just open fire on the whole crowd, just get rid of the whole lot of them. Well, Greta Thunberg as well. I couldn't care less about this crap, because when you've got people that are so poorly educated that they want to stand outside an event and encourage hatred towards Israeli people. That's the point, isn't it, really? Well, apparently a lot of the other singers were being quite hateful towards the Israeli lady who was the singer for them. They tried to ban them beforehand, before the event, and that didn't work. So again, the question is, what is the church? What is the Church of God doing about this? If you've got people, because absolutely and totally, in these protest groups, you want to have people that go to church, right? In these groups of people, even though a lot of it was, as I say, apparently like a gay porn fest, there would still been people who go to church there. And some of them think it's perfectly okay to show hatred towards another individual. And it doesn't matter whether that individual is part of a tribe that is God's chosen. It doesn't matter that that is the case towards any human being. Yeah? Well, as I say, what is the church doing? What is the church teaching about this? Because if I was in a church and I'd seen that, if I'd watched any of that, if I'd watched a Jewish singer being, treated as disgustingly as she was, I'd be speaking about what God said to David when the Israelis were having the troubles with the Philistines. That God told David to kill every man, woman and child. And so when we look at what Israel is doing in Gaza, and we think this is not God, that God wouldn't want this, then you're an idiot. You're an absolute idiot if you think God wouldn't want this. Go and read the Old Testament. Go and read it. War was a very, very common part. Israel being hated by nations was a very... Because, as I said before, it all comes back to Ishmael. It all comes back to the other son of Abraham. And that's where the Muslims come from. Islam. Islam comes from Ishmael. And so therefore there'll always be that hatred. But if you understand that, you know where it comes from. You know why Israelis are hated by Muslims and always have been, because they see themselves as the rightful chosen. Why? Because Abraham's first son was not the one chosen. Was the one that Sarah said he should go into her slave and have a child, because Sarah thought she wasn't able to bear. But the promise was made to Abraham and his wife. Because again, lack of understanding through people, that when Abraham and Sarah joined, they become one. So therefore, when the promise was made to Abraham, it was made to the one that was Abraham. And so the chip on the shoulder of Islam and all those of that belief, once you know where it comes from, you see it for what it is. Of course, that they want Israel to be wiped off the face of the earth, because they think somehow that Israel cheated Ishmael out of the promise. And they think it's God's will, Muhammad, and the God of Muhammad's will, to correct that. But they're wrong. And God knew all the while this was going to be a problem. God knew as soon as Sarah said, and basically, Sarah was supposed to say, go into my slave, because it was put into Sarah's mind that she would never bear a child. So therefore, for them to have a child, it had to be through someone else. So therefore, she was supposed to tell Abraham to go into the slave. Abraham was supposed to do that. The slave was supposed to have his child. That child was supposed to be sent away, because that child was not the chosen one. And all of this was supposed to happen for a reason, or for reasons, throughout history. And when God told David to wipe out every man, woman and child, he knew he wouldn't. He knew that he would disobey. We don't blame David for the situations that are happening now, though, do we? So, but again, it does highlight how poor the church is doing, because for Europe to be so infested with hatred towards God's chosen people doesn't say a lot about the churches, does it really? But then again, when you have pastors like Manuel in Germany teaching, and Manuel says he doesn't speak about politics or other churches or religion or anything like that, but then, okay, you can understand why the church is not really speaking about this in Europe. But it should be. Well, it should be if God is leading it to. That's the point. If you see this and you're horrified by this, then your church should be speaking about it. Of course. If, like so many, you're not horrified about it, you think it's right that the Jews should be persecuted, then, then maybe you think it's right that the early Christians were thrown to the lions and torn to pieces by lions. Well, in truth, it was right, because it happened. And if God was against it, it wouldn't have happened, would it? No. That's the reality. Yeah. So there you go. I'm going to leave it to it. You take care. God bless. I'll speak to you soon. Bye-bye.